Well, I know that some of you who are about to graduate spiritually that have been in a silent season and have really been separated from the crowd, have been able to look introspectively and really dive deep into what is really being reflected and what's really being asked, and how, in so many ways, you're ready to step into that latest version of yourself. Now, it's not an easy, well, that was spiritual within itself, but it's not an easy task. And as someone who's personally dealt with a lot of transitions, from being someone that was meek and a lot of times so disconnected, well, really, I was very disconnected from myself until in about, honestly, it might have really been the year I graduated high school. That was the year that I was asked to step into the fullness of who I was, but ultimately I decided against it because I was much more comfortable playing small. And so I wasn't really comfortable with recognizing that I myself was very much capable of living up to everything that I would need to develop later on to walk into where I'm going. Now, I'm not quite there, but one of the things that I've recognized every time that I am elevating spiritually, I usually feel the need to separate from the crowd. I crave solitude because, for one, for me personally, I am a believer. It's easier for me to connect with God, to have those conversations and go into that quiet place, that secret place that no one else is invited into. And sometimes I shed tears. And lately, in this last season, I've been really challenged to take a very bold step, to leave behind everything that I've ever known. And that means the people that I've been in community with for some 20 plus years in a regular capacity. Not to say that the people that are also my friends who live in other states and have different lives, but the ones that are central to the local area in which I currently stay. And that is because the things that I felt so gravitated towards no longer align with me. I no longer want to be in loud spaces. I no longer want to numb out my feelings with alcohol and any substance for that matter. I started craving clarity and craving sober-mindedness and really connecting to every single pulse within this vessel that God has given me. And it hasn't been easy, but it's gotten a lot easier. And one of the most difficult things to do, really, in my opinion, and this is just on my journey, is when you meet people who are newer in your life and you're really vibing with them, but they still hold elements of the past version of yourself that you are being asked to surrender and leave behind so that much more can come into your life, and more fruitfulness, more abundance, and a greater vision. Because in 2020, I did get a vision. And in 2020, I was deeply awakened. And this inner strength and this inner courage was also born within me. But at the time, I was very much still in some very old cycles because not everything falls off right away. It comes in waves, little by little. There are things that I had asked God to wield out of me, but for the longest time I was trying to do it in my own strength. I kept thinking that I could discipline myself to just separate from these things, and it didn't work that way. And then one day, without me even trying, I was delivered. And for the longest time I thought these things were a part of my identity, but no, I'm a child of God. That is my identity first, and it transcends anything in this physical realm. And I've also been pretty obedient, because when God like pulled the wool from over my eyes and allowed me to see things that I could no longer run from or escape from, the one thing that He whispered in my spirit all these years, and especially now, is patience. Patience, which I have always had patience with children, the elderly, and just people in general, sometimes even to my detriment. But I didn't really have patience to forge the things within myself to become that woman that, it's like, look, this is you. You gotta go all the way. The time is now. And so I am not gonna miss this ship, because this is now, I don't really have a choice. But for those of you who are really going through this rough patch and you're like, what is going on? Just sit still and remember the last time you were in a space, either physically, spiritually, psychologically, that was unfamiliar to you. How that all turned out and where you are now. And the tools, the mindsets, and the superpowers that you gain from those. See, I have also been encouraged to do more. And I've always been a leader of sorts, but the thing about me is if I don't have to, I won't. I'm perfectly fine sitting in the background and giving the ideas from behind the scenes, and I don't have to take the credit. But in this season, God is asking me to do so much more. And I believe for a lot of you that are experiencing that, you're also being asked to step up, because we are in such a cantankerous period in time where there is so much chaos, and that is a gravitational pull within itself, and that is a thermodynamic, all of this kinetic energy across the globe, and a lot of it is negative, the antithesis of love. And so here we are, waking up and going against the fleshly limitations of what we have captured as our limitations in our subconscious, that are being defragmented so that we can serve a greater good. And sometimes I'll do this, I'll walk away and then I'll come back and I'll be like, but I can't just say F them kids. I gotta sit here and I gotta raise these kids. I sure do. And another thing before I take off, because I really should have made dinner a while ago, is Kamala Harris real? Or is she just a big great actress that's her MO to sort of give entertainment value to the disintegration of the other side of the color purple? I don't know, that's neither here nor there, but it's just obviously so strange that like, just like straight up like that, that's wild. That is really hard to believe. But be strong, you guys. Walk in your purpose. Walk strong. Because God is with you. Yo.